All right, guys, got a short video. Here's what I'm saying today. The bee doesn't fly in opposition. What do you mean, Hoss? What I mean is this. Everybody's heard the saying and the theory of that the bumblebee itself, its body is too big for its wings and it shouldn't be able to fly. And a lot of people put out videos and they're talking about, you know, the bee said, screw that, the bee's gonna fly anyway. And my point with this, my message with this is, the bee has no concept of what's not possible. The bee didn't come out, get born, and then say, hey, excuse me, Mr. Bird, what are the limits of flying? Excuse me, Mr. Scientist, what are the limits? And then I'll see if I can adjust myself to those limits. No, the bee has no concept of that. And I think a lot of times the message here is, in our own lives, when we're deciding what we want to do, what we can do, especially as we get older and get more experienced, we start looking for the framework first before we put out what we want to do. The bee just decided that it wanted to fly. It didn't go seek information, ask permission, ask scientists, see other things that flew and say, hey, is that possible? Is that not possible? So it's not that the bee is like, hey, this doctor told me I can't fly, and now I'm gonna go fly to prove that guy wrong. No, the bee is simply operating from what it's finding out to be true on a day-to-day basis. So this is the same with everything. You could find out that you wanna run a 5-minute mile. Okay, and right now you could run a 9-minute mile. So the first thing that most people would do is say, well, who's run the fastest mile and what's that time? And you go and you find out it's probably like 3:40s, somewhere close to 3:40s. So you say, oh, well, that's the upper limits of what's possible. But that's not necessarily true, because at some point there was a guy that just went out and ran as fast as he could, and that's why that number has gone down over the years. It's not that you have to stay in these constraints. My question and my challenge to you is to, at times, instead of when you take on a new skill set or a new pursuit, instead of setting constraints and saying, hey, this is the high limit, this is the low limit, let me see what I can do. Let's just do what we can do, and then do what we can do the next day, and do what we can do the day after it, and keep doing what we can do. And we might find out that at some point we're doing what we could do, and somebody comes along and says, hey, that's crazy, you can do that. That's not even possible. It's like, well, it is, but I never did the research to find out what's not possible. The bumblebee never did the research to find out whether he was allowed to, in the rules of physics, fly or not fly, right? He just tried and kept trying, and his group, as a bunch of peers, kept trying, and now they're doing things that we, the scientists, are saying are impossible, which is rich for us to say in the first place, because none of us can fly under our own power. So that's what I'm saying. Think about it. Let me know your thoughts. Team Hoss, get out there.